Okay, let's try this again. I'm going to do a little tutorial on Sculptris Materials. We can do all kinds of fun stuff with the Sculptris Materials. It's just an image of a spear, but we need to understand how it works. And for a quick, good example, what I did here is I combined two of the ZBrush materials into one. You can see what it looks like up there. And notice how it affects this model. Notice where the red clay starts showing up as I turn it. It's because it's projected onto the model according to its normals. Okay, let me show you how what that looks like here. This is in Wings 3D, and these little blue lines represent the normals. That's the direction that the polygons are facing. Okay, so the image is projected onto the model according to its normals from the spear image that we're looking at. And just to give you an idea how that works, so now let's what I'll show you what I've been starting here. I've Google surfed this image right here, and this is just the original Windows XP Bliss background, and I'm gonna try to add it to where my model looks like it's in the image, and a material that'll be nice to work with. What I've done is I've copied this image and I've put it in here to paint.net, and notice I've actually opened it up twice. Okay, and this one's going to be the one I'm actually going to make the material out of. The other one I'm just going to use to borrow some colors from. Okay. What I'm going to do first here is I want to steal just a little bit of this for a reflection layer, and this always works out best if you go wider than tall and then squish it down to a square. And I don't want the whole thing, I just want a little bit of it like this. And then I'm going to resize it to my square at 512. I'm using paint.net, but I know some of these other programs, Photoshop and GIMP, should have most of the same effects. Now this one I don't know if they have or not, but I'm sure they've got some sort of a warp effect if they don't have this. Wings 3D's got, or paint.net's got this shape 3D effect. And it's how to project this image onto a spear. I'm sorry I had to move that out of the way for the camera. I've got a very slow computer and it doesn't want to record video very well, especially with the audio. Repeat, and let's turn the lighting off because we're going to do our own lighting. We could use their lighting and it's actually pretty good, but I'm wanting this for something else. And there, that's fairly convincing. I like that. Let's keep that. Okay. Now I'll start adding layers. Actually, I'm going to drop this one down at the bottom. And we can turn that off for a second. We don't need to see that layer. And I'm just going to do a gradient. I'm going to turn that brightness down just a little bit on that white and make it more of a gray. And I'm just going to do a circle gradient. One thing you want to do when you're looking at this is you want to kind of pay attention to the lighting direction so we can get the lighting direction the same. This should work out just about right. We can move that around a little bit here. Alright, and then I'm going to add another layer on top of that. And this is where we're going to borrow some colors from this image. We don't I don't want a real chrome image, I just want a little bit of reflection. But we're going to borrow some colors. Okay, so I'm just going to, I like this blue that it's got up here. So we'll borrow some of that. We'll go into this layer with the paintbrush. And I'm just going to get a big fat brush here and blop on some blue in this area. And let's see, the lawn green, it's kind of reflecting sideways, so we'll get the bright green and put it on the side. And we'll get the dark green, we'll put it down here in the front. And let's see, there's a lighter blue, sky blue. Let's borrow some of that. And actually, I'm going to put that in a separate layer. No, I'm not. Borrow some of that. Paint some of that in here. Let's see. Paint some of that in right up in here. In this area. And that's probably pretty good. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Effects and I'm going to do a Gaussian blur on this layer. And I'm going to turn it up really high. All colors to and what I'm going to do here, I didn't like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get my circle select. I'm going to just cut out a circle in the middle. I want a little more of the material to look like material. So I'm going to cut some of that out. There we go. Now let's try the blur. I don't like that. Okay, and so now what we want to do is just use this as an overlay. And we can, I can transparency it or change, and I can also change, and then I can do this as an overlay as well, or a reflection. See, I just want to put a little bit of that reflection in there. That might even be too much. I just want it to give it the hint that it's actually in the image. Let's try it with reflect and see what happens. That's kind of nice. What about lighten? No. Multiply. It's kind of a darkening effect. And you'll notice, when you do these, you'll probably just play around with it a little bit, see what happens. I think I'm going to go back to overlay though. I like that. I just want to outline it just a little bit, that it's reflecting a little bit. I don't want to be too overlay. And you know, if you want a straight chrome, you could do something like this. What I want is more like a surface, like it's partially reflected, but not really. And then another thing that you can actually do is you can actually apply a little bit of Gaussian blur to this layer. Let's see. I just do a little bit. Can't really tell the background more than it just, because you don't want it to look like it's part of the background. You want it to look like it's something that's in the foreground. It doesn't look like it's in the front. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so then you get this built, and I always like to mark them. You don't have to. You can stop right there and save it, and it'll work. I'm going to do a quick Control-I and go back to our black color. And might have to add a new layer to do that one with. All right, there's my Windows material, and so let's save this out, and ooh, that's well. Okay, now here we are back in Sculptris, and let's see. Here's our material. And so there it is, right there. And it kind of looks like it's in the image there. And that's how you can make Sculptris materials. Have fun with it.